Hello, hello. And yes, I am here live. Oh, again, Wednesdays are my favorite day of the week. It's wonderful to see everyone as we're slowly piling in. Oh, as always, I'm checking notifications. Sometimes they're so delayed in to see where is the yes, just to make sure. Oh, okay. I think I'm live to Janome Sewing Machines. Yes. And I should be live to Janome Canada. I'm just double checking. Yes. Again, it's delayed sometimes. There we go. Yes. Okay. And I should be live to Janome Canada. Oh, let me turn that down. Again, I'm always wanting to make sure that everything is okay with volume and that everybody can hear me, everybody can see me. So yes, it's wonderful. And people are coming in here. Oh, wonderful. Oh, yes. And my sister Deb is here. Wonderful. She had messaged me saying, oh, I may be late, but I'll be there. And yes, she's right on time. So lovely. Hello. And Betty is here. Hello, hello. Wonderful to see you all. Yes, make sure I turn this down. And yes, I have my computer turned down and everything. So it's wonderful to see you all. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Michael Smith, the National Education Manager of Janome Canada, and back here again live in Janome Sewing Machines Facebook page, Janome America, Janome Canada Facebook, as well as Janome Canada's YouTube channel and Janome America's YouTube channel. So Facebook is deleting these lives after 30 days now. So we can always jump on the YouTube channels to go back to review these later. So wonderful to see everyone. Oh, wonderful. Donna is here from Ontario, Canada, and Vanessa. Hello, hello. I love to see everybody join in. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, if you've been joining me the last couple of weeks where I've talked about couching, where we can typically zigzag a yarn, a braid, a trim onto fabric with our fabulous Janome sewing machines. We can do that a couple of ways with either the beading feet or the free motion couching foot set. And last week I talked about some quilting inspiration. Where can we find the inspiration to do all of this, especially if we worry about, oh, I'm not an artist. Well, don't worry about it. Lots of inspiration with your fabric. Or, of course, Janome.ca, Janome.com, the Inspire tab, or the Create and Learn tab. You can find lots of projects there. And yes, let's flip around here. Again, oh, my messy sewing room isn't quite as messy as it was last week, but still, I want to avoid showing all of that. And instead, let's look on what's beautiful. Yes, I am once again on my wonderful, this is the AT2000D Air Thread Serger, top of the line serger. Or this is the FA4, standing for Free Arm Serger. The piece that I'm going to share with you today is compatible with all Janome Sergers. You just need to make sure you get the correct one, as I'll explain. How we're going to couch this yarn or beads with the Janome beading attachment you see for overlock machines. As always, full instructions in the back of the blister pack. This as well has the blister pack instructions. If I can pull it apart quickly. Blister pack instructions again here, opening from left to right. Look at all of those fabulous diagrams, step by step by step. And they tell you exactly how to set up your machine and the sizes, the millimeters of beads in particular, as well as yarn, that you can couch. So what does couching mean? Well, basically, again, we're just going to, traditionally, it was a zigzag stitch that we would attach all this wonderful fuzzy yarn. My sister is a wonderful knitter, crocheter. I can't do any of that. But I love the yarn, the texture. So I say I get my yarn fix. And here last week I was doing, again, this free motion couching, following the fabric that's printed here in the fabric, the way it is constructed. So again, I could follow this little diamondy shape here. Is so simple, so easy. This was all free motion. Or again, with the beading feet, I was just zigzagging, without causing anything to fall over, zigzagging the edge of this yarn onto this. It's a scarf, actually, for a child. So there's so many things we can do, so easy. That's with our regular sewing machine. But with our serger, oh yes, look at this adorable. This is a picnic blanket. All this embroidery done on my fabulous embroidery machine. But this quilt, do you see, even here, it was stitched together on the serger. This is a quilt as you go technique. So all the blocks were sewn together, right sides together of the backing. And then here is the seam exposed. And then all of this yarn here on this border and this outside edge, I didn't want to bind this. And instead, it's just the yarn couched on, again, traditionally zigzagged on, or traditionally it was done by hand. And then we could zigzag it on our sewing machine. But then now, oh no, I attached all of this yarn on the serger. It was so easy. So yes, we could use our sergers again to make this whole quilt, and you see all that beautiful stitching. So just as a quick aside, oh, and again, I'm tethered to my machine. I'm tethered to my laptop here. As a quick aside, I just wanted to share with you all, again, if you're in the market for a new serger, then you simply just go on, this is Janome Canada, you go to Janome America, and you see what promotions tab. This is a slider on janome.ca, so all the current promotions will slide by, but you just hit our promotions tab. And again, this is the same for Janome America. Now, they may have a different promotion going on right now, but you just go to the promotions tab and you see, oh yes, both Canada and the US were offering artistic digitizer software until the end of May at a special price. So you contact your Janome dealer there. And then in Ontario or in Canada here, we've got, again, the bonus bundles offered going on right now. So you'll see the fabulous machines being offered in the bonus bundle. So could be a serger, could be a machine of any kind. So again, double check the promotions tab on janome.com and janome.ca to see what fabulous promotions. And double check with your individual Janome dealers. Maybe they have a promotion going on themselves. So maybe a great time to pick up a serger, or in this case, again, the beading attachment for overlock machines. So here is the fabulous beading attachment. Now, this was the previous beading attachment. So this is where I say it's the same attachment, but it was updated. This is the old beading attachment, and it works with every Janome serger out there except the new Mylock 454D, and it does not work with the AT2000D. So if you have this beading attachment from an older serger and you upgrade to a Mylock 454D or an AT2000D, this won't work because of this adjustment dial right here, this adjustment knob. This bar won't fit. But you see how the newly redone beading attachment, it's curved. You see, this is the old in my right hand. It'll work with all sergers except AT2000D and Mylock 454D. What will work with all sergers, including AT2000D and the Mylock 454D, is because of this curve. And again, to adjust for that dial there. This is the beading attachment. You see this groove here. And once I attach this to the machine, you'll see the beading foot. These come together in the blister pack. There is a groove here under the foot or beside the foot. And this channel basically is where your beads or your yarn goes through, and it goes under this groove. So it fits perfectly. Now, I always suggest you first purchase these from your Janome dealer, then you take this to the craft store and you see, oh, will this string of pearls, go through that? Yes, it goes through, no problem. You double check. This is, again, I love all these yarns. Again, will this string of pearls work? Oh gosh, no, that's way too thick. But maybe these pearls I could use with the wide groove or narrow groove, the wide groove maybe, beading foot on my sewing machine. So maybe we could still use these, but just not here on our serger. All these beautiful yarns. Again, I loved this designer yarn. And with this little eyelet trim that's wrapped around it. Again, the free motion couching foot set that I demoed last week, I couldn't use this yarn on the free motion couching foot set, but I can use it on the serger, no problem. We could even, some of these yarns, look at that, we can separate it, and I can use this yarn in the free motion couching foot set. I can use this yarn, you know, separately, zigzag it down with the beading feed, or I can even put it through the serger here. Any of these big, fluffy, textured yarns. Again, free motion couching foot set, no. Beading foot, yes. And serger, yes. Will it fit through? Again, will the yarn fit through that groove? Yes, no problem. So, and again, will this fit under our foot? Like that, yes, no problem. So again, you purchase this from your Janome dealer, then you take it to the craft store. Now, in all of our Janome machines, almost all of our Janome machines, we will have a little screw here. We open the side cover. Oh, I'm going to try to lock this in place. No tipping cameras this week. There we go. Almost all of our sergers have that little screw at the front when we open the looper cover. Now, our sergers come with the little short screwdriver. Most of our machines come with the little short screwdriver. The sergers often come with these larger screwdrivers, which I love. We can really get, as I say, more like torque screwing this in. So you'll see, even without reading the blister pack, it makes so much sense that this little notch here is going to go through, and I can just kick back the looper cover and boom. Oh, and one thing I want to do before I put this in place. Oh, there. And it's going to be easier for you because you won't have a camera in front of you. One thing we do want to do here is our knife, our upper knife. I want to deactivate the knife, especially with beads. We do have this groove. The beads will go in the groove, so they really won't contact the knife. But just to make sure, drop the knife out of place. So yes, this will go on beautifully. So double check whatever serger you have, double check your instruction manual to lower that knife. And then again, I use the screwdriver here, tighten that up nice and good. Boom. Now you'll see this is my regular foot on my serger. Well, I can't use this beading attachment with that foot. Well, no problem. There's an extra high presser foot lift included in, I believe, all of our sergers. And just like our sewing machines, there's a little notch at the back of the foot holder to release the foot. So drop that off, and then we snap on the beading foot. And again, that groove is where the yarn and the beads are going to be under. Now, this big wire here is a spring, basically, to help this foot. Now, if it's easier, though, for you, do not remove this. I had a lady tell me in one of my seminars, oh, that wire's in the way. So I had my husband remove it. Well, that wire is there to put pressure on the foot. On this little foot, not so much. But on the big foot, we need that wire to help the toe of this foot stay down. So that's why that wire is there. Do not remove it. But you can sort of, do you see how I just kind of twisted it out of place? And again, this will be easier for you because you won't have a camera in your way. But it's really quite simple to just get this positioned so it locks. There we go. So it locks into place. You just kind of tip up the toe a little bit, lock it in place, and then you can take this wire and put it over the top of the foot. So again, we can just kind of twist it out of the way. I don't want to snap it off, just twist it gently out of the way. And there, boom, we are set up, ready to go. Now, my machine here, according to the blister pack, is set up. We typically will use the left needle. I've removed the right needle. And remember how I said in previous lives, we can keep that needle in this Janome needle threader, manual needle threader. then we can use that as we unscrew that little screw so the needle doesn't fall down into that needle area. Believe me, this is a lifesaver. So many needles I've dropped down there by accident. So we can use this to help keep the needle in place. And then when we're ready to use it, then we know where the needle is, and then we can put it back in place. So these manual needle threaders are available in a separate blister pack if your machine did not come with one. They come with some of the Sergers. They come with the cover hem machines. Always wonderful to have just in case. So that is great. So I've got my left needle in play, and then away we go. So what are we going to do? And again, this is a great time to just experiment with your little scraps here. And again, look at that beautiful string of pearls that we easily put on. This could be a tote bag, this could be a quilt, a garment, a home deck project. You know, this could be a trim on curtains, a tablecloth, you know, pillows, whatever. Or imagine as a garment, oh yes, on the cuff. Isn't that a beautiful finishing touch? Of a cuff, you have a string of pearls, and you see just barely, you see that white thread holding those pearls. Isn't that so beautiful and so delicate? Or again, it could be, instead of pearls, boom, it could be yarn finishing. If we don't want to finish this off, wouldn't that be a cool cuff? Or again, on adding a touch on your binding of your quilt with your beads. This is my little sampler. I've done different beads, different yarn, just on some scraps of fabric, just to test them out. So simple, so easy to do. Generally with our beads as well, we don't need a really tight stitch length because we want the thread to go, do you see they're between each of those beads beautifully. So we can experiment with our stitch length. Same with these fuzzy yarns. We really don't need a tight stitch length. They work better. They don't crush down as much if we keep a longer stitch length. So that's why we experiment. Or how about this little sample? These aren't beads or yarn. This is some sort of like holographic trim. I don't even know where, you know, where you would use this. It's just like this cute little, you could, you know, super glue it, hot glue it down on some application. But again, I thought, wouldn't that be cool? Shay, this fit in this groove. So why not this holographic trim on your serger? Isn't that cool? It just adds a little spark to, again, your home deck projects, your pillows, your curtains, anything. So we go through and we see, again, I know this string of pearls worked beautifully. So I'll just take my little piece of felt here, and then the pearls and the yarn, whatever you want to do, make sure, I really could have cut this longer. Make sure you keep this longer, and I'm just going to snug it into place like that. Make it longer so then you can help feed it through on the back side. And then again, you'll see how it goes perfectly under that groove of the foot, and it lays perfectly in this channel. It works so good. My fabric, I'm just going to butt up against this fence on the, there we go. I'm just going to butt my fabric up against the fence of that beading attachment. And however you want to, however you need to adjust your serger, again, here in the AT2000D, the stitch length dial is integrated with the differential feed dial, whereas in most other sergers, there's two separate dials. But I'm going to lengthen the stitch. I'll say, oh yes, I was at 3. We'll try 3.5. Again, you just do your little experiments like this before you go to your garment. So do you see very slowly, because I'm using that left needle, my needle is not touching these beads. I have my knife blade lowered, so there's no way if these beads were to accidentally, if I wasn't guiding them properly, And if they just accidentally jumped out of here, there's no way, again, that knife is disengaged. So I'm not harming my serger at all. Again, Janome thinks of everything. We just have to do it. Oh, and my threads are all, caught up here under my foot, of course. Yes, make sure your threads are not caught under your foot. So again, all we have to do is just follow the instructions. There we go. And then this, I can just chain off, convenient side thread cutter, boom, and there we go. Isn't that gorgeous? And again, my thread had caught at the beginning there. So there, when your thread doesn't get caught, it's beautiful. Again, matching thread would be really great if you can. So yarn. Now, the cool thing about yarn, let's try some yarn. I will just take a bunch here from this skein. This is, again, where I can get my yarn fix. There's so much that we can do. And again, I just kind of tuck it under here, tuck it under there. And then whatever I want to do, here is some fabric that I have stabilized. So it will make a great home deck project. This, again, could be a tote bag. And just want to pick this up here. I've got a longer tail than I need. And again, just keep your fabric butted up against that fence. And it's easier to do when you don't have a camera in front of your face. And then I will just cut that. It works out so easily. Like, I didn't adjust my tensions at all. Isn't that cool? Look at that fuzzy texture. And again, even though I've got my multicolor thread here, like, you barely see it because of the texture of that yarn. Here, I'm not using my right needle. So I've got black thread in my left needle, and I've got this red textured thread, this Madeira Arrow flock. It's woolly polyester thread, a little fuzzier thread in the upper looper, and then I have this pink arrow lock thread, Madeira Arrow lock, in my lower looper. And you barely can tell, again, the colors of the thread because it just buries into the texture of that yarn. It is so fun. So simple, easy to do. So I just have the big skein of yarn here on my table, but instead, what I have been doing is putting this yarn on the Janome tape stand that I use for binding. Here's the Janome tape stand that I use for binding, and we normally roll up our binding here, but instead I've been taking off some yarn and putting it on the empty spools of thread, some iris thread here. And then look at how beautiful that works. So we can set the yarn, we can wrap it up on the empty spool, set it on the Janome tape stand, put this next to our machine, and again, this just comes off so beautifully. Serge, away we go. Like, isn't that wonderful? I came up with that myself. And that's the wonderful thing. When you get all of these things at home, you go to your Janome dealer and you get the tape stand and you get the beading attachment, you get all your presser feet. And when you have this all at home, then you experiment and work on it and use it however, works for you. There's so many ways to do things. You work with whatever works for you. Now, yarn as well, I wanted to say, like, oh, yarns like this yarn. I love it. I get it from the discount store. So not very expensive. Now, it's a big yarn. Now, it will go through this yarn or guide, this beading guide, this beading attachment. It will go through no problem. And again, it will fit under that foot. No problem. So here is this big, chunky, fuzzy yarn. I love it because, oh, imagine doing like a quilt with several rows of this, or a pillow, several rows of this. and how fun the kids especially would love to cuddle up with this. And even like a day like today, it's not really that warm out and it's kind of gray and overcast. It looks like rain. So again, I always say stay inside and sew. And how about making this fuzzy pillow? Again, just do rows and rows and rows. Now, again, you see my red thread a little bit more here, but imagine if that was white or cream, you'd never see it, but it's perfectly, beautifully attached, nice and secure. So how fun would that be? Again, rows and rows and rows, nice. And do you need a special foot? Yes, exactly. We need the beading attachment for your serger. The beading attachment is here on the bed of the machine, and there is the foot. It is a little foot that there is the foot. So little foot. And then, yes, here is my 3-ply. As I discovered, this is a 3-ply yarn. So I can pull one strand. Here is a 2-ply then, and I pull, you see those 3 individual strands. So this is how, again, maybe in the free motion couching foot set, I couldn't use this yarn. It's too big, it's too chunky. Maybe I could use 2 strands though, or maybe I could use 1 strand. Now, yes, it takes a bit of doing, but that's what I did here. This is the same yarn, but in green. So this is 2-ply. So it's not quite as chunky. So I was able to use this more easily in the free motion couching foot set, for example, or again, here in the serger, it went beautifully. Or again, here is 1-ply of that yarn. So yes, can you take your yarn and separate it? And that just gives you more yarn and more versatility. So that just fits through beautifully. Now, as I mentioned very quickly, that on the older beading attachment, as here, again, it is not notched out the way that it is for the new beading attachment. Do you see how the new beading attachment is notched to go over that adjustment? So again, your AT2000D, your Mylock 454D for sure needs this new beading attachment. There is the part number. So that's the new beading attachment. Again, you see with that curve. Now that's for AT2000D, Mylock 454D, or any other serger. It'll work no problem. Again, if you had the older beading attachment, or if you go to your Janome dealer and they still have the older beading attachment in stock, well, this will work with all other Janome machines other than the AT2000D and other than the Mylock 454D, the newer models. But this one will work with the older ones. Now here in the FA4 serger, I had mentioned, again, almost all Janome machines have that little screw in the front. Well, if I remove the free arm here of the FA4 serger, oh, we have this unusual configuration. Yes, I can push this off. Here included with the FA4 in our little accessory kit is this peculiar looking contraption. But again, you look at your Janome manual, your instruction manual, you go watch my Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour on Janome Canada's YouTube, and I go through the FA4 and what's included. There's a little notch here at the side, and then we just simply clip this in. This is what's going to allow us to attach the beading attachment or the elastic gathering attachment. So, or the cloth guide that I also demoed in previous lives last month when I went over serger accessories. And again, we just can move the looper cover out of the way just to get this in. And again, tighten this up. Boom. I already have, oh, I thought I had it attached. I just had it resting, resting in place. The beading foot here, again, sorry, my fingers get in the way. Just attach that very quickly. And again, you can turn, tip up the toe of the foot sometimes to snap it in place. That will help. There we go. I have it snapped in place. Perfect. So again, I have attached it. So the yarn is going to line up perfectly in that groove, and it's going to go under that foot. Now, in this case, I do have in my FA4 here, I still have my right needle in play. So I will need to remove it. Make sure my needle's all the way up to the top. But you see how that goes right in that groove. It grows in that groove here. So we can use this beading attachment with the FA4 serger. We just need this little bracket that comes with, it comes with the FA4 serger. So again, Janome thinks of everything. And we can also slip this back into play even with that beading attachment on. So we can still bring our extension table back in. We don't have to use it free arm wide. But I just wanted to show you then when we use this, I just need my little screwdriver. When we use this needle threader, and again, make sure the needle is all the way up. Whoops. Yes, make sure the needle is all the way up. I just want to get my upper looper out of the way. There we go. You see how you just snug this in, and then we go in with the screwdriver to undo this needle, and then we can pop this out, and it just works so easily, so convenient. So we just unscrew that, and again, that we can keep it in position. It's not going to drop down in the needle plate area. So it works out really, really good. And again, when you don't have the pressure of live and you don't have somebody, a phone in the way. Yes, but normally, again, I would unscrew that. Again, it's just fiddly. I can't quite see it. I need glasses. Oh, there, I did it. Okay, perfect. And then make sure you do, oh my gosh, you make sure you tighten this screw back up, because when you go to use your serger, the vibration could loosen that screw if you don't tighten it up, and it can drop into place. Ask me how I know. Tighten that screw the minute you remove this needle. But there, my needle is conveniently in place. I can just keep this off to the side. I know exactly where my needle is. Or again, here for the FA4 serger, open my looper cover. Isn't that cool? They even, again, Janome thinks of everything. There is a position right here to snap that in. So your needle can be right there and you're not going to lose it. Close it up, no problem. Like, it works so good. Janome thinks of everything. You know what I discovered here in the AT2000D as well? Oh, look. For this would fit the needle threader, or included with the AT2000D, it has the same end here for the needle threader, so you could hold your needle in place. This little part of it, the tool, is for the spreader, which I demoed last month. So this little tool I just discovered. I've had this machine for about 5 years, and I just discovered, isn't that cool? You can keep that carrier right there. Or again, your manual needle threader could go right there in the looper cover. Isn't that amazing? Again, Janome thinks of everything. An old serger, yes, probably, so long as your serger, will this beading attachment fit an old serger? Now, if you have the screw, and again, here on the FA4, I've got that extra little attachment because of the free arm, but you just open your serger. Do you have a screw right here at the front of your serger? Then you can use this attachment. It'll work beautifully. It is so fun. So yes, there, as always, in a whirlwind is how we can, there we go, trying to flip my camera. That is how we can do couching on our serger. Again, yarns and beads, anything that will go in that little channel. Again, you just have so much fun. Look at all of this. I just love all of this, that we can add this either by sewing machine or by serger. We can do so many fun things with our Janome serger. So double check with your Janome dealer to get the beading attachment for your serger. Check the Janome accessories catalog to make sure that you, again, get the correct one for your machine. And I will see you all next week. And as a heads up, oh, did you ever imagine you could be couching on your embroidery machine? Oh, yes, we can. And I will show you how next week. It's so much fun. So I will see you all then. Have a wonderful day. Bye.